Got more breaking news for Auburn men's basketball in the transfer portal, and this is the good kind. We have a brand new guard coming in by way of FURMAN, one that's been much anticipated, JP Pegues. Let's talk about it and what it means for Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers. War Eagle Auburn family and a special War Eagle, and welcome to those of you that consider yourselves part of our E2C network family. We appreciate you being here, whether you got here by social media of Facebook or you're on home base of YouTube, whenever you got here live or on the replay. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, spending some time being a part of our little family within the Auburn family. What we have in store for you today is a little bit of an impromptu live stream for breaking news of JP Pegues of FURMAN deciding officially and announced from his social media in corroboration acknowledgement from Auburn Basketball that he will be an Auburn Tiger for the upcoming 2024-2025 season. Obviously, that season is a long way away, but this is exciting news for the Tigers, who has seen a few guards and point guards leave in the transfer portal. So there are a lot of different angles, facts, speculations that we can make about this news, all important news for Auburn men's basketball, even with the season just freshly ended only a matter of weeks ago. So we're going to go into all of that. We're going to dive into some stats from FURMAN, from ESPN as well. Just kind of look at some of those things, so you know what picture you're getting of what type of player. We're also going to talk about the things that it means, you know, talk about who's left, talk about who might be still coming in. What does this particular commitment and transfer mean for the rest of the program in this off season? Obviously, there's a lot to discuss within that. We would love to hear from you on the live, especially. Let us know in the comment section, in the live chat, what you think about this topic, what you're excited about, what you think about this particular player. Anything related to this topic is fair game, and we'll address some of those live viewers' questions, comments, and topics as they come up or if they come up. But we want to give you some information purpose. And make sure you always smash the like button and let us know that you're here. We'll give you a shout out and, of course, take those comments and questions. So let's start with maybe some opening thoughts from me on this. A lot of people have been very excited about the potential of this guy coming to Auburn. Obviously, as is the case, when these players go into the transfer portal, they've got to go on their particular visits, talk to their teams of interest, and work that process out. It seemed like this was Auburn's opportunity to, really make a splash in the transfer portal yet again, from getting a guy at a smaller school in a smaller conference. Doesn't necessarily mean that's not a good brand of basketball, but we're in the SEC, baby. And bring them up and make them rise to the occasion here in the SEC playing for Auburn. Hopefully that's going to be the case right here. If you've been following the story, or at least the reported story of this, he was going to take some other visits. I believe one to Florida as well. I could be wrong on that. But after he took his Auburn one, he canceled that, which kind of started dropping the tea leaves of, hey, we think this is going the right direction. You couple that with some other players like Dylan Cardwell deciding to come back, and with the rumors cycle of Bruce is going to leave for the Kentucky job over now, at least for that job. Not saying there's another one out there. It obviously starts to make sense why all these dominoes are falling into place, why he's making this decision now, why he canceled that visit. He is going to be, at least as far as we know right now, an Auburn Tiger. Got to sign on that dotted line, all that kind of stuff. But comes in as a guard, more specifically a point guard. Where do you know this guy from? Well, Auburn's seen him before. Well, you've seen him in the March Madness aspect, at least. He's the one that knocked down that game winner for FURMAN against Virginia. Yes, against Virginia in the 2023 tournament. And that was a big bucket to knock down to send them in that big upset bid against Virginia in the first round. Now, I don't think they went too much further than that. I can't remember them exactly, but that would be your most vivid, probably, memory of him and what will recollect your knowledge of where you've seen him before. Reportedly, there was a scrimmage, a private scrimmage, closed door scrimmage, this beginning of the season, I think, with Furman and Auburn. And I guess they got a good look at him again. So the tampering accusations will abound again with that. But hey, if it gets him here, that's all that matters right now to me. All right, we will talk about what does this mean? But let's talk about what we're getting in JP Pegues. Some of your thoughts too, maybe about what you think about this guy. Don't be shy. Let me know. Let's talk about his career. He has played 3 seasons at Furman, starting back in the 2021-22 season. We already talked about his big shot and big game against Virginia in the 23 March Madness, but has played for the Paladins for 3 seasons, and in most of those seasons has played in all, if not most, of their games. He averaged, it looks like he became a starter in the 2022-23 season, getting more minutes. 30, excuse me, let me back that up. 31 minutes to be exact. His field goal percentage has been pretty consistent in the 40s. 43, 41.2, 42 percentage. His 3-point percentage, because I know that's where a lot of people are going to go. There's 2 topics that come up when we talk about guards for Auburn. Can they shoot? Can they score in general? And what's their size? This one is not necessarily going to get those criteria met the way I think some unrealistic Auburn fans are. But we'll give you the information. His 3-point percentage is 35.8, 34.3, 36.2 this last season. So he has improved this last season in 3-point percentage. Now, to me, you're making over 1 out of every 3 that you shoot. That's a really good sign. So that's definitely where you want to be as a guard, but maybe we could use a little bit more than that. I don't know. But he can score in a variety of other ways. You just need a guy who can score and drive to the basket. Well, here's how we know that he can score. He started off in his first season where he didn't play as many minutes, scoring 3.3 per game. His second season, 11.9 per game. And this last season, 18.4 per game. So this is a guy, at least at their level of basketball against their competition, knows how to score. Hopefully it will translate over to here as well. Pretty decent rebounder as well for a guard. 4.3 per game this season, 87.5% on free throws, which was a significant increase for him after his last year. He's got 1.2 steals per game, 2.1 turnovers per game, which is a little bit lower than what we saw from some of our guards this year. Hey, so there's some of your stats right there. So 2 things that I would take away when we talk about stats, when we talk about his measurables, and let me bring those up to you. 6'1", 185 is approximate what we could find on Furman's website, and you'll find that on ESPN as well. So he does not fit the stereotypical guard of what Auburn fans want in terms of the bigger guard. Remember, 2 seasons ago, all our guards are too small. Well, we got some bigger guards. It didn't, exponentially increase the play. We got some better things in certain areas. So maybe it's not necessarily size. We also, in this guy, aren't getting probably the most prolific 3-point shooter out there, but maybe he's going to continually improve. So in terms of those big things that some people think about, maybe this is not where you need to be sitting your focus. Can he just score in general? That's really what Auburn needs out of a guard and a point guard position these days to complement their big men, whichever big men are going to be here. But that's something to take away from him. A lot of people are really excited about it. Big get. Just getting in here. Sorry if it's been answered. Does he have 1 year of eligibility left? This is from Tracy. So that's a good question. I haven't dug into that a lot. And this is where we now sit in the confusing time frame, because he has played 3 seasons at Furman, which would tell you, in a traditional sense, you only have 1 year left, that being your senior year. Now, if he had a red shirt or something, or sat out for a year, then maybe he had, but it looks like he's played the 3 years. I haven't looked further to see if he's had a red shirt or if he's had some other medical exemption or stuff like that. But does he have a COVID year? I don't know. I can't recall reading up on that. But I would assume this is a guy that has just 1 year of eligibility left coming into Auburn. That's what I would probably plan on this point. And now look, if he has a big year too, then we will definitely only have him for 1 year. We'll see how that works out, though. A couple more stats and facts for you. This is from FURMAN's website. Let's look at some of his season highs. His highest scoring game came against Western Carolina in late February, 35 points. He made 10 field goals against Western Carolina, and his most field goal attempts were 22 there. So Western Carolina was a very big game for him. His most prolific three-point game was he made 7 of his 15 attempts in the same game against Tulane at Tulane. So shooting well at Tulane on the road in your conference play is a good sign as well. That's almost a 50% three-point percentage right there. His most free throws he made, 11. That was against Samford. Samford's a team that made the tournament this year and nearly took down Kansas. Assists, the most assists he had against a team was 12 against Bob Jones. I didn't know there was a Bob Jones out there. He also had 11 rebounds one game against Chattanooga. So I wonder if he had a double that game. His most blocks was 2. His most steals were 4. So if you look at the picture that we're painting of Pegues at this point, I think what you're getting is a guy that can score in a variety of ways. Whereas maybe Aiden was mainly known for his three-point shot. And I know, look, I know, before you even say it, I know he didn't shoot well this year, but that's not what we knew about him coming in. And it just, some people go in a slump sometimes. This is a guy that scores very well from all angles. He shot well from the free throw line, got to the free throw line. He has, he's shot three-point ball enough, but can get to the basket and score. And may I add to you that we know in high pressure situations, he can make the big shot. I will point you back to FURMAN versus Virginia in that March Madness game in last year's tournament, 2023, which was a humongous moment right there. Josh points out averaging 18 a game. Yes. So that's an average for what he does currently. And I think this is sometimes lost in how we process not just transfers, but recruits coming in. We assume that everything's going to translate over exactly how it is. Aiden was a prolific three-point shooter. Didn't necessarily get going this year. Would it have happened here at Auburn if he'd stayed? Maybe. Who knows? Will that 18 points per game translate over to Auburn? Hopefully so. We shall see. Only time will tell, but let's give him a chance to adjust at least. So that's some stats, some facts, measurables, how this all happened. Let's talk about what it means, okay? Because I know that's where we go to next. We celebrate it, but then we start thinking about what does this mean? Where is he going to play? How much playing time is he going to have? Is he starting? Who else is this going to potentially convince to stay / who is he replacing? How is this going to work with all the other players coming in? That's a great question. So let's look at the dynamic. And I see some of you bringing up comments and questions, so maybe we'll address some of those and what I'm about to say. Let's talk about who is left thus far. Katie Johnson, Aiden Holloway, Trey Donaldson have transferred out. We also lost Jalen Williams, and we lost Leor Berman just by they have no more eligibility left. I wish they did, but they don't. So they are gone. So effectively, you have 5 open spaces. 2 of those have been filled by 2 in the transfer class. One would be Tahad Pettiford, and the other would be Ja'Kai Howard coming in. A forward and a combo guard. Tahad can play point guard, but Bruce has been adamant that he's not gonna necessarily play point guard. He's gonna play off the ball a lot. So when we think about numbers game, think about that. Those 2 spots that have officially been vacated, meaning with eligibility, Jalen and Leor, have been filled. Now with JP Pegues, God, I gotta get used to saying that because we had the Pegues that was on the football team a while back, and I know it's even probably said differently. I gotta get used to that. He is filling one of those open guard spots, those other 3 guard spots, and one of those point guard spots. Will he start? Kind of seems like he will. Both the starting point guards are gone at this point. I think he's probably got the best leg up on being the starting point guard, the field general right now. Hunter asked, how will Bruce likely play everyone? How do you think the minutes will be split between JP and Tahad. And Hunter, I kind of addressed this already, and this is why I stress very much for you guys to go watch the press conferences that are put out online. I know this one was out publicly, but we put out clips from some of the smaller press conferences too. Really listen to what the coaches are saying, because Bruce has been adamant that Todd is going to play off the ball a lot. He is a combo guard, meaning he can do both. So he probably will have some opportunities to play point guard. But when you ask about in relation to these two guys, JP is a point guard. So he's going to be the one that's probably going to be PG1. That's how I would look at it, at least, Hunter, and how that's going to work out. So I don't think that necessarily their minutes will collide all that much, because Tahad's going to be used in a variety of ways. So effectively, the way that you could look at it, based on what we know right now, obviously there are some very important decisions out there to be made for who might be staying. We got Dylan back yesterday officially. That's a huge thing. But you could make the case that your starting lineup as it stands right now would be Pegues, and now at point guard, Denver Jones at your 2 spot, CBM, Chad Baker-Mazara at 3. 4 would be probably Chaney Johnson. And 5 is either Dylan, or if Janai stays, Janai. So that could be your starting lineup going forward. So what does that mean for Tahad in your question, Hunter? It means that potentially we are talking about Tahad Pettiford maybe being that 6th man. Now, he may come in and just win a starting job from Denver or Pegues when everybody gets here. But I would look right now for him to be, at least in the guard perspective, that 6th man, that KD spot that came in and right away and contributed. So that's kind of what I feel like it is going to be right now. We'll see how everything shakes out, though. It's a good question. It's a good thought process. What else does it mean for the team? Well, we talked about the roster breakdown a little bit, about this fills one of those 3. There were 5 open spots. 2 had been filled by recruiting, and now this transfer portal fills 1 more. So there are 2 more spots that have been vacated at the end of the season. Does someone decide to stay? Does a Aiden or a Trey decide to come out of the portal? I would assume no, but obviously they have that option. Haven't really heard or looked at any other guards that I'm aware of that have been really heavily expected or looked at, but there's always that option that they could come out. Maybe a Trey, someone like that, that's got a little bit different of a build than Pegues. He's a little bit larger of a point guard and did very well this year. Maybe, we'll see. Or you bring someone else in. I think it stands to reason that Auburn is not done going to the transfer portal for a guard. Now, if that's a guard that is a huge name out there, I don't know that I see that right now, but you never know. You never know who wants a look at something new, and what they might want to do in terms of setting themselves up for a good run with Auburn in next season. So that's out there as well. So 2 more spots effectively to fill. Both of those were guard spots. Expect at least 1 more. I would say combo guard, point guard to round out your guard play right now. But yeah, so that's kind of what we think so far about what we know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in that particular realm that we need to discuss about what it means. Obviously, on the Bruce Pearl side of things, I think this should make everybody feel better. Dylan's coming back. This guy would not be coming in to be a part of this class if Bruce was going anywhere. The Kentucky situation obviously is over now, so I don't think y'all have too much to worry about that. Gracie says, I expect another D1 point guard transfer, but not as high profile as JP Pegues. Is Harper 2.0 bigger size? What, quite a comparison. He does have a little bit more size to him than someone like a Harper, but he's also not the biggest guard or point guard that Auburn has ever brought in. I think Trey's a little bit bigger than all of them, which would be nice to have him come back in the fold. I just wouldn't expect it at this point. All right. What haven't we talked about? What haven't we discussed? What information would you like to go into further about this one? JP Pegues coming from FURMAN, or in something off of this, what it means for the team. If there's something we haven't hit, drop it in the live chat right now. If we missed it as part of the replay for you, drop it in the comment section and we can address it as best we can in the comments with you. Let me give you a couple of reminders. I don't have any cue cards ready for you guys, but what's coming up next here at E2C Network, especially on YouTube, our next scheduled is the keyword, live streams are Sunday at 9 Eastern time. We have episode 74 of the Auburn Experience podcast with me and Austin. Don't miss it. This will be discussed again. We also, next Wednesday, we'll have a live call-in show at 8 p.m. Eastern time, talk about anything. And when I say scheduled, that means that stuff like this is going to continue to come out and happen. If you're not subscribed, you're not following everywhere on social media, all social media, you're going to miss some piece of content. So please do make sure you're taking care of that so you don't miss anything. Let's see here. We got some speculation about what the lineup might look like. We've already kind of went through that. I think we've hit most of the high points about what we need to talk about JP Pegues, the initial assignment. So kind of rounding out our conversation here today. Obviously, very much followed, anticipated, very much needed with both our point guards gone. Those spots have been filled. 2 more spots still remain. What will happen? This obviously fills a point guard 1 role and begs the question, will another one be brought in /1 come back into the fold? And obviously there are still questions outside of this particular guard position. What else might take place? Who may come back? Who may come into the fold? There are still spots available. But for now, we've got a guy who knows how to score, got a decent build and size to him, not the biggest guard out there, knows how to score in a variety of ways. It looks like, yet again, on paper, that Bruce Pearl has another slam dunk into his transfer portal repertoire, especially from small schools like FURMAN, Morehead State, Janai Broom, and several others out there. Bruce is so good at finding those diamonds in the rough. And sometimes they are people with lots of eyes on them, but they're still diamonds in the rough, and you have to take a chance on them. So I'm excited to have him here. And if he created as much magic as he did against Virginia in that NCAA game in 2023, we are going to be in for a fun time with JP Pegues. So welcome to him. Excited to have him. And thank you guys for tuning in to talk with us live or on the replay about this new transfer portal news. Until we talk to you again, War Eagle.